Please welcome Solstice.
Thank you, Chris. All the introductions that were regarding that has to be the most recent one. Andrew from Solstice out here. I run marketing at Solstice, and I want to tell you guys that today I took a look at my weather report and couldn't help but think of one thing: the beach. As I was craving some additional sun, it became clear to me one thing: access to the sun is a fundamental right. But unfortunately, most companies in the solar industry have actually left us in the shade. And let me tell you guys what I mean by this. Raise your hand if you live in an apartment or own a condo. Anyone? Great. Unfortunately, no sun for you. Do you have too many trees in front of your house? Bye-bye sunlight. Do you live in a house with a flat roof, just like the one at Microsoft right now? No sun for you either. No dough for the expensive installation costs or maintenance fees? Better luck next time. And unfortunately, we are not the only ones. 80% of Americans cannot get solar in their roof. But there is a solution, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't have one for you. Community solar allows 260 million Americans who cannot or do not want to install solar in their roof to access renewable energy. And unlike traditional rooftop solar, you can get the benefits of renewable energy without the hassle of installations. And the market is tremendous. If anything, it's been doubling every single year for the last 3 years. And while there are incredible companies producing the panels themselves, we decided that our chance to innovate was in the customer acquisition and customer management space, and to create something worthy of the 21st century. And this is where we come in. Solstice offers a turnkey solution for the community solar industry with softwares and products that cater to every single stakeholder. Let's think about things from the consumer standpoint. Let's pretend you want to find a community solar garden next to you or near you. We have a product for that. Think of it as the kayak of the solar industry. And once you become a customer, we have redefined the entire experience to make a product that was actually easy to use, user-centric, and modern. Gone are the days where you couldn't pay your bill, you didn't know how to pay your bill, or you couldn't track your last 12 months of electricity usage. If you think about the other side of the equation, the developer, and in this case, the business that makes the solar project, we allow developers to track progress of their enrollments of their solar gardens. And once the solar project is fully enrolled, we offer the best of its class CRM and customer acquisition and management tool for people to keep track of their progress. Gone are the days of spreadsheets, gone are the days of Post-its, gone are the days of fractured pieces of software. We've worked across 17 projects across the US and have generated more than 100 kilowatts of community solar demand. Our job is far from over because the age of solar has finally arrived. Thank you, guys. I'll take questions.
So you're doing projects. You're developing projects when you say community solar.
Yeah, so the question is whether we're developing projects ourselves. So the interesting thing about Solstice is while we don't develop the projects ourselves, we focus on a few things. One is customer acquisition, two is customer management, and three is offering the tools to do both.
So your customer is?
So my customer falls between both sides. On one side, there's regular folks who want to join a community solar project near them, but at the same time, my customer can also be a developer in the sense like they need help either managing the customers for their solar garden or they need help acquiring new customers for a solar garden.
I mean, so you're collecting investors for solar development.
Think about this, we're a marketplace, right? In the sense like we are a double-sided network with the demand and supply side of things. When it comes to community solar itself, the developers are usually the ones that find financiers and investors to fund the projects themselves. So when we actually come in is we allow developers to be able to find customers, right? Because again, if you think about this, without customers, there are not really any financiers willing to fund the project.
Okay, so if I have no solar in my house, and because I got too many trees,
Sure.
and instead of spending $5,000 to put some solar arrays,
25 to 30.
well, however,
I'll take it.
however many kilowatts I want,
Sure.
all right, I can buy into yours, into one of your projects, and then get my electric bill passed through and work on my solar plant.
Sure. So happy to dive more into that, right? The specific terms can change a lot depending on what kind of offerings we have available at the specific time. One of the flagship offerings that we usually have, and we have right now, it allows an average person to save 10% of their monthly electricity bill without any additional costs. And the way that this is possible is, imagine the electricity gets produced by your solar panels. It is then fed into your utility company, and your utility company will deliver that electricity to your house, right? Which means no additional installation costs and no additional downtime, right? You still get to keep the reliability of the grid, but you get to support renewable energy.
Well, it's just like changing my supplier or using that other product and say I want 100% renewable. It's the same thing. By just choosing a different supplier from Eversource.
Well, that's certainly interesting. We do certainly have customers that do choose to still have a supplier, but I think one of the fundamental differences about community solar itself is the fact that you are fundamentally supporting renewable energy directly. In the sense, like, you are one of those 400 people in your town that's taken that step forward to both make a future greener for your children, your children's children, but also create local jobs for installation, for maintenance itself. And you actually understand the electricity is directly supported by green energy. And to some extent, while you might be able to do that with supply, not all suppliers certainly do that.
It's like a gated community would be a target, something like that?
Not necessarily a gated community would be a target, but I think anyone living within a certain ratio, a certain distance of a community solar farm. You know, we've done projects across the states, and it really depends a lot. Given that the electricity is fed into the utility company, it can certainly travel a bit more. I know you had a question.
As a customer, do I participate in shield energy credits, and do I benefit from net meter and all those things that my neighbors with panels take advantage of?
Yeah, so in order for you to actually be able to get the renewable energy credits, right, RECs in this specific case, you need to own the system yourself. But given that you actually don't purchase the system yourself, again, it's almost like thinking in terms of what is important to you. Do you want to purchase the system itself and get the credits, but deal with the upfront costs of the maintenance? Or do you want to deal with the savings aspects and still support renewable energy, but join community solar without the credits? So I think there are different models, right? And if you think about this, you can go rooftop solar, you can go community solar, you can go community solar and a supplier. It really depends on what is best for you. And I think part of what we try to do, at least in the consumer side of things, is help folks figure out what is the right choice for their household. But I think at the end of the day, Solstice is fundamentally more than just about customer acquisition, right? It's also about how do we help developers connect and manage customers. Yes, sir?
So is Solstice listed as the supplier on my electric bill?
No, so Solstice is not a supplier in this specific case.
So they hook me up with a supplier on my home.
Yeah, so we take care of the entire process for you in the sense like you don't really need to lift up your phone. And when it comes to billing itself, you can again go back into our portal and just pay the bills from there.
Just so you guys know, that if you go with a community solar project, you get the best of both worlds. If you start software and you have that, you're getting the conditions there. It's actually good that you can double that.
Yeah, but I just don't understand, is it using it as a supplier or making an investment? You said you make an investment and then you get the benefits off the investment.
You're not really making an investment because you're not paying anything up front. Or you're not paying anything at all.
You're in the community to take advantage of
So basically, you're signing up to be part of a group buy of electricity.
Yes, basically. But you can also parlay, you can also get the additional benefits of having.
All right, so does it cost anything to sign up for the group buy? You know,
So this is not exactly by amount of time. This is not exactly a buy, given that it's free for anyone to join. So it's not exactly either a buy or an investment. So the only thing that you actually pay is the electricity that you consume at a premium, at a discount, right? So example, you get a 10% discount, you pay 90% of your electricity bill. Happy to chat more offline, folks, but thank you so much.
Thank you.